Welcome in, Monday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you today. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio. You probably didn't stumble upon us. You probably know us by now. We'll talk some Ole Miss baseball. Rebels falling 2 out of 3 to the Alabama Crimson Tide in every way, sort of a microcosm of the season for the Rebels. Mike Bianco, where is his level of peril right now? That and more coming up on today's show. The final
peril?
days. Peril.
Is he in danger?
I mean, from an
occupational
standpoint. No, to the best of my knowledge, he is perfectly. Yeah. I think he's perfectly fine. After that, yeah, I'll tell you all about the press box crash here in a second. That's fine. We can go over that.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
You didn't see this on Twitter?
No.
You were pretty busy on Saturday.
I was completely out of pocket Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. I'll fill you in a second. So, we'll hit that. That's cool. So, all those, much more coming up on today's show. Our boy Jaden Rashada headed to Georgia. He picked his new school. So, he.
Well, and I'll tell you a little NIL info on this one. You want to hear a quick little nugget?
I'd love a quick little
nugget. He's not getting much at all.
Well, he's already gotten some.
Georgia is taking over where Alabama left off back in the day. When kids, believe it or not, and I know this is hard for people lose their minds over it, but it's true. Alabama was the one school that was sort of immune to the highest bidder syndrome.
Yeah.
Guys went to Alabama because they pretty established.
Built by Bama.
Worked. Well, they're not that case anymore, at least right this moment. Maybe they'll come back to it, but Saban's gone. And it's Georgia that has sort of moved into that role of kind of built by Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes will go to Georgia because they view it as a very clear path to the National Football League. And Jaden Rashada is not getting a big check there.
He jumps into a situation where obviously they have Carson Beck, Gunnar Stockton's the young kid that they also like there on that Bulldog roster. So,
yeah,
those are your quarterbacks. But I just found that interesting.
Yeah.
Jordan Rashada headed to Jaden Rashada, not Jordan. Jaden Rashada headed to Athens and the Georgia Bulldogs. If you're heading anywhere in Mississippi, there's a Blue Sky nearby up and down I-55. They're out North Mississippi as well. The epicenter down in Macomb, got a subway attached to that bad boy. And Sweet Daddy's locations all over the state. Hopefully you guys took advantage of the free red Ole Miss baseball jerseys they were giving away at the Oxford Exxon with any Sweet Daddy's purchase on Friday. They've given away a lot of those, so if you took advantage of that, you can get, again, clean convenience stores. Fill up on gas and much more there with all Blue Sky locations, lunch specials, and more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is that number. Call it, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can shop it around. You can do what I've done. I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. The Campbell Clinic is in Oxford now, 2608 South Lamar Boulevard, Suite 102, just across the street from the cottages at Hooper Hollow. The Campbell Clinic provides full-service orthopedic care, everything from sports medicine to foot and ankle surgery to spine and total joint care, pediatric orthopedics, physical therapy, and more. To book an appointment, go to campbellclinicoxford.com or call 901-759-3111. Walk-ins always welcome at the Campbell Clinic, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'll give you guys a quick programming update. We'll have a Thursday crossover show, Hand Raise Guys, and the Josh Hendrickson show. Josh Hendrickson will be the guest in studio. I've had some people asking for that. Finally made that work. So if you have questions about anything, because he can answer questions about basically anything. Josh will be here. Let's get started probably around 5:30 on Thursday evening.
So a little earlier, 5:30 for that for people.
About what time we've been kind of going?
Yeah,
roughly.
Okay. You also were on with SEC Mike. Those videos, podcasts running around as well. For
that video did not do good for me.
What do you mean?
Maybe it was a wake up call. It's
really?
Yeah. The diet started hard.
Would you have thought that no matter what though?
I don't know. I don't.
I
don't ever look
because I didn't notice that.
Really?
I mean, I'd be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
Really?
Know. Yeah. That one.
It freaked you out a little bit.
I watched like 25 seconds and had to turn it off.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was like I almost got like. I know people. People think you're making it up. I mean, I could almost feel myself getting ill.
Really?
Oh yeah, I had to stop. So
the angle wasn't great either, which would happen to anybody. It's kind of up and at.
Yeah.
There's a reason that all the females take the selfies from up high.
Way up high.
Yeah. They will tell you that. Hey, go.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I was a narc to him. Okay, we'll run through this. Because I got some of that on Twitter, and I understand the premise on why someone would think that. But if you come into my area that is restricted, I am then thus free to do whatever I wish, I feel like, publicly at that point.
Yes.
So this has been going on for a while, years actually. And as I answer a couple different questions. This gentleman who I'm going to guess in his 70s, I could be off by a little bit, but that's a guess.
Okay.
The best of my knowledge.
An older gentleman.
He was not a member of the 1964 College World Series team that was being recognized. Some people said, hey, no, they were told they could go anywhere, and that's fine. That was not Don Kessinger. I know Don. He was not coming into the press box on Saturday.
Or any Saturday.
Yeah, right. So, again, this has been going on for a while. And we used to have, and I'm not blaming, I do not want the security guard back. It's an extra hassle that is not necessary. But we used to have a security guard that would keep people from walking into the media area of Swayze Field. So let's just go from the beginning. The way this works, we are the very far box down the third base line.
Right.
The Diamond Club is attached. You can come up our steps and get to our box, but security's not supposed to let you come through us to get to the Diamond Club is the reason for that.
You're supposed to go to the Diamond Club through the home plate.
Yeah, to where you ticketed and the whole thing.
Right.
Just like we can't use the elevator to go up through the Diamond Club to our box. It works both ways because us media members, plebeians, cannot be with the Diamond Club people as we move that way. So we walk up the steps.
That's like letting the great unwashed in with the great washed.
Yeah.
It's just,
so,
can't happen.
Okay, so that's the dynamic. Is we're the far box, steps up by us from the normal stands, the concourse, the area, and then up and then through.
Okay.
Well, I sit in the very left seat next to the window. I have since it's built. I'm very neurotic about it. I admit it. It's weird, but I like my space, and it's where I like to be, and I want that seat. So when anyone comes up these steps, it's right beside me. And somebody goes, well, Chase, there's two. You could get out on the other side. No, you don't want to be in the window next to the Diamond Club because then they're like looking at your computer and stuff, and it kind of bugs me. Like I feel like people are over my shoulder. So I want the far left corner. And this man, I'm going to ballpark it at 5 or 6 years, maybe longer. Probably 5 times a year, maybe give or take, maybe 4, maybe 8. He would come up walk up the steps, walk into the press box, and he would come in, ignore everyone, not say a word, and just start grabbing like media guides or stats. Back in the day, they'd bring us cookies. He would just take a couple cookies off the table, but he's picking up all the media notes, which always fascinated me because I'm going, I don't want those, and I'm in media. So you having an interest in these is amazing to me. And we'd kind of chuckle, and I mean, he's harmless. So, I mean, we'd kind of laugh, and like I'd kind of look at the media relations guys going, hey, Dalton, like he's from Roadhouse. Hey, get our guy back here. And he's like, hey, I don't get paid for that. Not my area. And we'd laugh and joke or whatever. But that's always been what it is. He'd just come in and get his stats. And even a couple times, like a couple of media relations people would go, hey, can I help you? I'm just grabbing some notes. Okay. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
There is a real thing to old man not give a damn. Where, hey, it's on you to stop me at this point because I'm not stopping. Yeah. But very emboldened on Saturday. So he comes up the side, and I see him walking up the steps, and I'm immediately like, here we go again. And I sort of like sit back. I'm like, well, I want to see what he does. So I just kind of turn. I mean, the game's kind of boring. So I'm like, let's check out the action. He comes in, and from the very beginning, the back of our press box has a coffee pot, a microwave, a refrigerator with drinks and stuff in it. He pops that bad boy open, grabs him a Diet Coke. He's holding it. He walks over. He looks at the stats. I don't think he even grabbed one. He didn't have what they wanted because they stopped printing media guides the last couple of years, so he can't grab a media guide.
Yeah.
And then he comes down, and again, the way the press box is situated is the very front row inside is 8 seats across. And then right behind me on my side, there's like 4 seats on a second row. There are no second row on the right side.
Right.
So he's down at the steps and he's looking, and for a brief second, Jeff Robertson sits right to my right, and Jeff wasn't in his seat. The guy's looking down both lanes, and it flashed through his mind for a second, I'm going to sit there. And I like literally took my backpack and went and just moved it over. And I was like, no, we're not playing this game.
You're invading my space.
Yeah. And then, so he looks both ways. Then he gets his epiphany. He opens the door and goes into, there is 16-ish outside seats in the Swayze Field press box. So you're up over the regular seating, just outside, whatever.
Back in the day when Ole Miss made the NCAA tournament and played regionals in Oxford, that's where I would go sit.
Yeah.
Because I don't cover the team on a regular basis. I'm not getting one of the main
And
seats.
frankly, when it's good weather, it's the place to be. It's great. It's awesome. It's a great place to watch a game.
Yeah.
So he just walks down the steps, takes a seat.
Yeah.
On the right side, he sits right by, I think, a dude from the Rebel Walk and somebody else, and he's just hanging out. And I'm just kind of looking at him. I'm looking over at Michael Katz like, this is real? Like, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And he's just enjoying the game. He popped his Diet Coke open. Yeah. He's not even talking to anybody. So Siski asked for a photo. We took a photo. We tweeted it.
Okay.
And I'm giving running commentary. Hey, here's what he's doing now. Here's what he's doing now. Here's what he's doing now.
This is Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. So he watches about 25 minutes of the game.
Okay.
Gets up, walks back up the steps, back inside. Then he sort of glances around the corner and realizes that the lady that's usually manning the security between us and the Diamond Club has left her post for a minute.
Okay.
So he just opens the door and heads into the Diamond Club.
Oh, now. game on, boys and girls.
So,
because now some the media types will be like, you don't belong here, but they're not going to say anything. Those types are, you don't belong here, and you are to leave now.
So, but there are no, unlike basketball areas and other places where they have bracelets, the Diamond Club doesn't really have, and maybe they have bracelets, but I don't notice it. It's not as obvious as I've noticed it at basketball.
Okay.
So once you're in, you're sort of in. Like, it's hard to, and he looks like, I mean, whatever. And so I tell media relations guy, I'm like, hey, see where he's going. So he walks around the corner. Dude heads right for the buffet.
Oh, yeah.
Gets him some cookies, some desserts, an ice cream sandwich.
Yeah.
Another Diet Coke. And I'm beginning to wonder now, we've grabbed ice cream and 2 Diet Cokes. So this is kind of like this is kind of like hey, I want the Big Mac when supersize it, but a Diet Coke, please. We're kind of in that area.
Well, he's not a heathen.
He just pops over to the rail and starts watching the game for, I don't know. We lost him at this point because he had moved all the way toward the control room in the middle of the Diamond Club at that point.
Yeah.
But my thought was, he's actually going to be trapped because the security guard isn't going to let him back out of our door.
Oh. So
I don't know what ended up happening to him because I'm a little worried he got actually trapped in the Diamond Club until the game was over at that point.
Maybe he's still there.
Because, you know, they sort of like scan you out. Wouldn't be able to scan him out. Doesn't have a Diamond Club ticket. So I'm just wondering, I mean, if we've made this much progress through this, I mean, I'm really probably lucky there's only 1 series left because it was 3 or 4. I mean, he might be asking Mike questions after the game here in a few weeks or something. I mean, we might be really progressing. I mean, we're going to be asking him for lead ideas here in a couple of weeks.
Could be.
Yeah, it was more entertaining to me on Saturday.
Is there a home game
than
this
anything
week?
Else. No, they've got they're in Pearl tomorrow to face the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Okay, and then they hit the road.
And then they hit the road to Auburn, and then they play the makeup game against Murray State next midweek.
So he might be stuck in there till the middle of next week.
Might be stuck in there to the middle of next week.
He's gonna get hungry.
Yeah, and there's locks on all the ice cream and stuff when they get done with the game.
He can still get to your refrigerator in the media room though.
He would. There's some Sprite in there, some Diet Coke.
It'll be a little thinner by the time next week rolls around.
Yeah. Well, because Parrish Alford was at the game on Saturday, and even he walked up and he goes, hang on, that guy's still hanging out? I'm like, yeah, the guy's still hanging out. More emboldened than ever.
Who was Parrish stringing for?
Magnolia Tribune or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. He said he does kind of a weekly column thing for him. It was just kind of hanging out to get any material here or there. So
okay.
Yeah, it's good to see Parrish. So anyway, again, that's the story. And I caught a little heat on Twitter, but
why?
that I was outing him or I shouldn't be taking pictures of him. It's like, no.
He came into your
He's
space.
in my space.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. I said, I'm not sitting here taking pictures of David Eckert. He's legally in his space. I'm not.
No,
I'm
come
not.
on. Be like if you went into the Diamond Club, people started taking pictures of you. That's fair game.
Fair game.
You're in their space.
Yeah.
You don't belong there.
Once you're in an unauthorized area, whatever happens to you in said area,
all bets are off.
Because I had people texting me from the Diamond Club going, "Hey, what's he look like? Where's he at?" I'm like, "Well, hold on, let me just take a picture of him. Here he is."
That's great. No, you were in the right.
So
it wasn't like you picked out some guy in Section B and just started going off.
That'd be weird.
That'd be wrong.
So he was looking around though when he was headed down the steps. Were we just challenging until someone said something to him, or was he seriously just like he knows he's not supposed to be there?
He didn't care. Maybe he's mad. Maybe he's mad about the losing, and he's like, you know what?
So I'm going to go in the press box.
Why not? I'm going to.
So do you think he knows those notes and packages and things aren't for anyone to walk in and get?
Yeah, of course.
But he just decides he doesn't.
What are they going to do? I mean, he's known that for a long time, and he's always come and done it. So it tells you that he's like, there's no rules.
That's true.
If you tell your daughter, hey, look, bedtime is 9 p.m.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And she decides on Monday night, you know what, I'm going to stay up till 10. And she does. Nothing happens. Tuesday night, stays up till 10. Wednesday, stays up till 10:15. No one says anything. Dude, you can say the bedtime is 9 p.m., but the bedtime has suddenly become whenever Carly Ann wants it to be.
Sure.
I mean, she doesn't have to have a meeting and go, hey, we need to formally move the bedtime. No, she just goes, it's an unenforced rule.
Once the first time he came up, they were like, hey, look, Cat, nope.
Yeah.
Then, okay.
If people had turned him away, no, you're not allowed in this precious space. They eventually would know I can't go in there. But no one did that.
No one took his cookie from him.
So if Carly Ann stays up till 11, 20-something straight days, well, she's going to start saying in her mind, I know what the posted bedtime is, but that doesn't really apply to me. And she would have, I mean, there'd be some evidence on it, on her behalf.
Uh-huh.
If she's just sitting there watching TV at 11 o'clock in her room, I mean.
The gatekeeper's not keeping the gate.
I mean, if you guys aren't going in going, hey, look, get your ass to bed.
TV off.
TV off.
Yeah,
by God, go to bed. You do this again, and you'll think bedtime. Well, now she knows there's something going on. Till then, so he's just been allowed to go lawless.
And again, he got away with it.
100%. Apparently, unless he's stuck there, something tells me he just walked out. He's out there just out among us, knowing that, you know what? I don't even have to pay for this Diamond Club. I don't have to get a media credential. Now, I would say Ole Miss is kind of known for
giving a lot of
not really enforcing media credentials. So maybe the next thing is he decides to head on down and do the postgame with you guys. Which, frankly,
the floor is open.
Frankly, if it were me and I were you, I'd want that. Hey, why don't you ask him? How come you guys don't ever ask tough questions? Well, you know what, boss? Have at it. There he is.
I'll step away.
See the guy with the 5 on the back? That's him. Go for it.
Because typically it's the lanyard thing that all media knows is that if you have a lanyard on and you even sort of act like you know where you're going, no one's stopping you.
For the most part. Yeah.
In most stadiums, that's kind of a thing that if you have any sort of identification on and you don't look hesitant and you're just barreling through, because all those security people have a decision to make to go and, hey, do I care enough to stop this gentleman or lady from going wherever she appears to know where she is going? And the overwhelming answer is no, I do not care enough to stop said individual.
No, it's like the court storming thing. At some point, they look at it and go, F it.
Yeah. And then occasionally you get the security guard, like a few years ago when I'm just minding my own business walking through, and he literally grabs my backpack and spins me around because there was no backpack.
No. No.
You're realizing this weekend between this and a message board thread that I have a lot of patience most of the time.
Yeah, a lot. Because I'm going to tell you, once they lay hands on me, we have problems. We have fundamental issues now. That's only happened to me one time, and that almost got really ugly.
And taking your job so seriously that you really believe I'm walking around with some sort of issue in my backpack.
Yeah. I'm minding my own business, and you grab me.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to go well.
Yeah, grab the back of my backpack and like stop me from moving.
Oh, no. No. Yeah, you're a much more patient human being. Woo, that would not have gone well. No. Because you know me, I'm a mind my own business person in the press box.
Yeah.
Like completely. I don't bother anybody. I'm usually headphones. I'm the whole deal. No, I'm not there to be touched.
Not there to be touched.
No, because I'm not bothering anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not grabbing anyone. Don't grab you. If you have an issue with me, say excuse me,
and then
express the issue, and we'll go from there. But no. I'm not a get your backpack grabbed guy.
Early in the year, you'll get some weird new security people that decide, hey, we're going to have a different set of rules.
Okay, then express the rules. Put them in. Yeah. Put them down.
Well, it's like it was a few weeks ago. They had a different security, and I will move on. I promise to actual base.
This is actually
people probably have more interest in this. There was a new security guard at our parking location, and because they had a miscommunication from the other parking attendant security people, they thought only a actual like pass that could be scanned could get into the lot because there are season ticket holders that also are in our lot. But we just show our credential, and that gets us in. So they told every other media member, no, you can't park here. And I think for the most part, like 90% complied and ended up in like the back of the Manning Center. And I didn't know this because I never even checked up. I literally just kept moving and flashed it. And again, you're going to have to run my car down if you decide that it is that important to you at that point.
Because you know where you're supposed to park, and that's where you park.
Yeah, I know same guys most of the time. Sure. Like I literally just hold it up and keep moving.
They know you, yeah.
I never stop.
It's like me for basketball. I could, they scan me because they're supposed to, but they're like, oh, here he goes. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But instead, like every one of them stopped and they're like, hey, no, sorry, you got to go here. And we're like, end up in the back of the thing. I'm like, no, we're just going to. Because I think had I stopped, I'm like, no, you can't park here. Like, hey, you're going to have to call somebody, or I'm going to call somebody because I'm not walking from over there. So
that's your line. It's not getting your backpack grabbed. It's not your daughter being mistreated at a restaurant. It's your by God parking spot at a baseball game.
Or my seat in the press.
I'm not criticizing. I mean, we all have.
Or my seat in the press box. I have moved student reporters from my seat in the press box.
Well, yeah, because it's yours.
So
I get it. No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
I mean,
you're saying my line is in a weird spot.
I'm saying it's your line. I'm not one to say that your line's weird. I just said that's your. I was trying to identify where's your spot, and there it is. Where's
cost benefit analysis?
Where's your line in the sand? It's not. It's not your daughter being mistreated badly at a restaurant. No, that's not it. We'll take that. But my God, you tell me I can't.
It's a little misleading. Okay?
You tell me I can't park in my spot, and hey, all bets are off. It's not you physically grab my backpack and turn me around, which could have tortured me or something. No. That's my parking spot, and I'm parking there. And if you don't like it, hey,
you call Keith or I'm calling Keith. One or the other. Do you have his number? I do. Yeah. So hey, let's figure this out. Oh God. All right. We'll get on with, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll talk about something when we come back. First, G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync. For your prescriptions, same day each month, and take care of you. They're easy to transfer your medications as well. You make one phone call. They take care of the rest. They do it all for you there with G&M. They do little deliveries for free in the Oxford area. And again, also with Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs, on the square in Holly Springs. So wherever you are for your pharmaceutical needs, let them be your community pharmacy of choice. Again, that's 662-236-2222.
I've got about an hour of work left on it, but I will have 10 thoughts to you today. They're brought to you by Andrew Seago, Seago Wealth Management. How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Seago with Seago Wealth Management specializes in helping, folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting. See what he can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. I mentioned a Thursday show. It will be brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. The College Corner is in Oxford now. You still have a couple of weeks, just a little more than a couple of weeks, to go into the College Corner location in Oxford. Leave a tip. That tip's going to go to the Grove Collective, and it's also going to get you registered for a Grove Collective Lane Kiffin signed autograph football. So that's at the College Corner. They also have 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear right there off of Sisk Avenue in the Oxford Commons. You can also check them out at 2 locations in the Jackson area and online at collegecornerstore.com. We're brought to you by Pinnacle. I'm sorry, not Pinnacle. It used to be Pinnacles. Now Argent Wealth. They sponsor Mind on My Money, which we taped on Thursday. That's out on MPW Digital. They have clients in more than 20 states. Argent provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much, much more. At Argent, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Argent will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's myargentwealth.com.
So I guess start with the football portion of this. Austin Simmons injured over the weekend, the quarterback / left-handed pitcher for the Rebels.
Oh, that's right. That was this weekend.
Yeah.
Holy cow, man.
Time running off on you a little bit.
I just lose track of stuff.
This was Thursday night?
I guess so.
This was the opener?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, frankly, Ole Miss was already kind of out of the game. It went to like 6-0 after a 3-run homer. Alabama scored, I guess quickly, we'll start there. Alabama wins the first game 12-0. They had a 9-run fourth inning that put it away at that point. Saturday, Ole Miss wins 9-8, not 10-9, right? 9-8. One or the other. 1-run win on Friday. Sorry, not Saturday. The middle game, 9-8. Mm-hmm. Played well. Had a couple comebacks. Hit a couple back-to-back home runs there in the late innings. Had a lot of energy. And then on Saturday, again, just a listless offensive performance. Zane Adams, the Alabama starter, goes 7 innings, was really, really good.
He's been good several times this year.
He shut out Arkansas 2 weeks ago for 8. Because Mike had said, hey, I think that's his longest outing, and it was, except for that Arkansas game when what he did 2 weeks ago. But it still was.
He just pounds the strike zone.
But it's the third game of a series. He's not Sandy Koufax. And Ole Miss, with a 20-mile-an-hour wind blowing out, could not get the ball in the air. He retired 18 of 19 at one point. You just cannot have that happen in Game 3 of a series. Ole Miss played really bad baseball on Saturday. They were beat 10-3. It was a game for most. Alabama kind of extended. I think Alabama scored 7 runs over a 3-inning stretch at one point against that Ole Miss bullpen that's really scuffling to find much right now as far as to get through games. And it's leading into why they've used Austin Simmons as they have lately. And look, I was kind of waiting on Keith Law to jump in, and he did, as Keith always does on any kind of pitch count kind of thing. And it's sort of where I knew it would go when it happened on Thursday is, do I believe that Austin Simmons throwing twice the previous Saturday caused him to tear his UCL? No, I do not. In any way. It's
not really how
that
it
is
works.
Never going to be a one-day cause day thing situation. It's just not. Now, in saying that, the optics aren't good. Optics are bad.
Yeah.
And my personal opinion, again, you can disagree. I'm not saying I'm right. My personal opinion is you should be careful with every kid, but you should be even more careful with football first kids who are paying the bills in another sport. Again, right or wrong, it's the way I feel.
I'm with you.
Again, don't mistreat anyone, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
because he's on loan in a way. It's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
But no, I do not believe what happened in Athens last weekend contributed to his injury at all. He has been throwing now. That's why it's kind of complicated. There's several points here. Somebody goes, well, he's only thrown 14 innings this year. It's true. He hadn't been used a ton. But he threw at football every single day. And I get it's not the same motion and all that stuff, but you're still throwing a lot of freaking balls overhand.
You and I talked about this the other day. There's a reason that you don't see a lot of this. There's a lot of kids who play quarterback who also pitch. You don't see it happen at the college level. There's a reason for that. It's not because they don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's too much. Bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, we were trying to come up with people, and I think Jameis Winston is the only pretty good comparison.
It's all I
could come up with off the top of my head.
I'm sure there's some guys back in another era, whatever, which probably could lead into a conversation about how people are developed as pitchers these days, but regardless.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So he is only a few pitches in. I think he threw 4 or 5 pitches. He throws a pitch, reacts to what just kind of looked like pain off the top. I mean, I'll be honest, I kind of watched it and I didn't even think arm at first. I thought back, core, or something because he kind of bent over. And then when the trainer came out, I thought he said foot. I think he said, now looking back, but I thought it was foot off the first blush. I'm not as good as John Boy with reading lips. And
nobody is. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up over that.
He has a skill there.
He's very good.
So wasn't Kyler an outfielder though, Josh? That's where I was. The pitcher part is Samardzija did not play wide receiver, not quarterback.
Kyler was an outfielder.
Yeah. So he bends over, then kind of comes up. And then on replay, where I went, oh crap, is as he was walking off, he was sort of shaking his arm a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who has had the surgery and had the injury, your arm goes numb and you sort of are trying to shake feeling back into it. If that UCL is, because that UCL is attached to essentially it's your elbow and your funny bone, sort of. And you kind of just have a bunch of weird nerve stuff going on in there through that. So that's the deal there. Mike came back on Friday, said that he did not give specifics. That the MRI showed an injury, I believe is the way he put it, to the UCL. Said that because he was a 2-sport guy, they were going to talk to a lot of doctors, look at a bunch of different options, and he would have more probably middle of the week as far as where they sit there.
Yeah,
which is smart. It's good.
Sure,
it's fine. Take a few days.
Because he's not pitching anymore.
A lot of people have brought the Brock Purdy comparison into this as far as UCL tears. It's not irrelevant.
Yeah.
I saw Reeves Moore from Special Orthopedic tweeted me on Thursday and said that from a football standpoint, if you get the new internal brace with the recovery, which frankly should be getting baseball players back on the field quicker too, but that's another conversation, that he actually would have a good chance for making football season this year from a throwing in a football scenario at that point.
Yeah.
So his football situation is not in dire straits at all. I will be a little curious to see what his combination balance is once he's healthy moving forward. Because when I wrote that story with Austin before the year, I mean, he was very set on football first. I mean, if you've read the story and read his quotes, and I mean, it was clear that football was going to get his priority and he would work baseball in wherever he could. Last fall he did not come over to baseball, but I think one time. I mean, it was football centric. So I don't know where he will stand on that. I'm not saying either way. I don't know. But that's what's interesting to me is where he stands on that moving forward at that point. But either way, definitely out for baseball for at least a year. And now we turn and sort of watch what the surgery is. I'm curious who does it. And because it depends on sport and what you're trying to do sometimes with that. And then how far he is into football before he is healthy and ready to throw. And again, he's competing for a backup job against Walker Howard right now is where this thing sits.
Yeah.
They like him, though.
No, they
like the crap out of him.
They like him a lot. He's got a big arm, still a little raw, because he's very young.
He's only 18.
Yeah.
Might have just turned 19.
Has a very high ceiling. Isn't close to the ceiling yet, but yeah.
The kid for State that's ambidextrous, I like his glove, how he can just switch it over and it's got webs on both sides. So it's almost odd it's legal, but I like it.
I love when people get that word mixed up and
Amphibious.
they call him amphibious. I love that. It's awesome. See his gills?
That's saying something completely different. Yeah.
It's not the same word. Nope. You're being the grammar police. No, I'm not. I mean, you're saying he can like live underwater, and I don't think he can. That's all I'm saying. If he's also amphibious, well, this is a hell of a story.
Now,
because the ambidextrous part's cool enough, but if he's also amphibious, well, stop the presses. I mean, this is a big story. It's happened. I've seen it written. Not the same word.
So I found this quote really interesting. Mike, after the game on Saturday, because like I said, Saturday was kind of a microcosm of everything. The weekend, was a microcosm of everything.
Okay.
First off, they've won 1 of 3. That's where Ole Miss is sitting right now, 1 of 3, 7-14.
They're on pace to go 10-20.
So they're averaging 1 win a weekend through 7 weekends. It's 3 years in a row they've been no better than 7-14 through 21 SEC games. They played well. They got blown out on Thursday, and they keep getting blown out. They've been run-ruled 5 times in SEC play. I
think that's right.
They've been beat 8-0 in SEC play. They've had another couple games where they haven't really been in it, even though it's not a crazy blowout.
Yeah.
Played well on Friday. Had some energy. Liam Dole gives them their best chance to win every weekend.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. He is a capable SEC starter. And Riley Maddox pitches well, but Riley is a sinker baller. He throws a ton of ground balls, and Ole Miss can't catch ground balls. So it is not matching Ole Miss's defense well when Maddox has to get 4 or 5 outs an inning because he just keeps throwing the ball in play and they don't make the plays. They commit so many errors behind him.
One of the most surprising things about this team is how below average they are on defense. Most people didn't really see that coming. They thought they'd be better than this, fielding the baseball.
But then they turn around and have this game where they kind of were energized and whatever, and then just laid an egg on Saturday. It doesn't carry over. There's no consistency. And I'm setting the stage a little bit.
I mean, the consistency is the inconsistency.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
So setting the stage a little bit. Talking to Mike after the game on Saturday, and anyone who's around the team knows that it is not a good comparison, but I'm not even really going to criticize the flyby over media people, whatever.
Can I?
Sure.
Okay.
Somebody comes in and goes, hey, Mike, I know you said it. Because Mike early on goes, hey, I get y'all guys on the same record thing, but, like, we got problems. Like, he's being honest. Like, he was a little sarcastic at bad questions. He was not in a bad mood. Like, I saw some of the younger reporters on Saturday go, oh, he was looking for a fight. It's like, no, that was not looking for a fight. He was just kind of pissed off 5 minutes after a game. There's a big difference. Yeah. I've seen him look for a fight. That wasn't it.
Yeah.
And somebody follows back up and goes, well, you know, Mike, I mean, I get what you're saying, but you guys are 7-14, and you won the title 2 years ago at 7-14. Are you going to use that with your team? And Mike goes, that's a great idea. I really ought to tell the team that. They haven't, but the guy kind of deserved it.
Oh, there's no question he deserved it.
Yeah.
It's a really stupid question.
Yeah.
Watch with your eyes. This is the problem I have with some of the TV media, is that you're not paying attention. And then this is the worst thing. You're not listening to the press conference.
Mm-hmm.
You're there. You wrote down a question, and you're going to, by God, ask it, even if it already got asked 4 times.
Yeah.
I'll give Lane credit. He's always patient with that crap. I would be like, hey, I've already said that 3 times.
Yeah.
Jackass. No, I mean, look, I got a lot of thoughts about where this is going and whatnot. Yeah. Because that happened 2 years ago doesn't make it relevant now from here's what's happening. And then further, that team 2 years ago
was number 1 in the country in March.
They had arms. Yeah. They had bats. They had a shortstop who was later a first-round draft choice. There were people on that team that gave that team some hope. I'm not saying this team's like hopeless.
But I told Neal yesterday, everybody goes, well, there's no DeLucia or Elliott. No, there's no Brandon Johnson. Yes. There's no Jack Doherty from that year. Like, there was some dudes on that team.
Yes. That's
Like,
that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, it's not just Oko. I mean, Kemp and Calvin
Bench.
and Justin. Yeah, I mean Kevin Graham.
That was talented.
They were good.
They just didn't.
They had a shitty month.
Yeah. And in that shitty month, they weren't getting blown out. They were losing close games.
Yeah, and they kept winning DeLucia's game.
And then stuff began to work. But there's no.
So he was. So then Mike was asked, okay, what did those teams have that this team doesn't? And Mike, to his credit, didn't go talent, but he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But his answer was revealing to me.
Okay.
The best teams we've had showed up every day and were very consistent with the way they approach practice and the games and everything. That's what that team did. They showed up every single day. They were exactly the same. They were committed. This team is too inconsistent. We're too much on the roller coaster or Jekyll or Hyde. We have it in us to play well, but we just need to do it. Everyone tries. That's some facade. I hate that. Everybody tries. We need more doers.
So I'll tell you what I take from that. That's an admission on his part that, let's take the 2022 team.
Sure.
Tim Elko had been at Ole Miss for a while.
Yep.
Kevin Graham had been at Ole Miss for a while. They were very good friends, probably still very good friends.
Yeah, Justin Bench, 4-year guy.
Those guys had been there a while. There was a culture. There was a standard. Look, somebody has to lose. Not everybody gets to win the state championship. You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes it's not a reflection on you had a bad day. You had a bad weekend. You don't get to win. This team doesn't really have that core guy.
No.
And so you're going into the portal. And people talk about the portal, and it's kind of become for me a little bit of a – people think I'm like angry about it. I'm not. I just have an opinion about it. I think it's a really difficult way to build your program. Portal. Some people do it, but I think it's really hard. You need to have, especially in a sport like baseball where it's day after day after day after day, you really need to have a core group of guys that have established a culture that culture is the one that when you come in from outside, you have to adjust and adhere to that culture, not vice versa. And you bring in a whole bunch of cultures and they don't mesh, especially when nobody's elite talented. And there's no Charlie Condon coming to the plate for Ole Miss. There's no Jack Caglianone coming to the plate for Ole Miss. So you don't have that. There's no Hagen Smith pitching every Friday. That's, hey, we're just dominating this game one. There's none of that. So you have to have something else, and they don't have it. And it's obvious that they don't have it. And so that's why you get blown out, and you'll come back and play one day, then you get blown out the next day. They're consistently inconsistent for a reason. And what Mike's basically saying right there is that they're also inconsistent in the part that the fans and the media don't see, which is the practices and the workouts and things of that nature. They're not consistent in that regard either. That's why when 2022 happened and people would say things like, are you shocked? The answer was no. I mean, from the coaching staff, no, I'm not shocked. I'm thankful that finally, because that team went all the way to the precipice of the cliff before they figured it out. But they always had the ability to put that together.
No, it is the biggest misconception in the world. And I think a lot of our people get this because I've been harping on the message board for weeks now, is that their issues are completely not they don't have enough money or they didn't understand the portal. No, they understood the portal. They need too damn much in the portal. Those are two different things. And it's because exactly what Neal was saying, which is that you need a core nucleus of players, A, just to help you not need 10 guys out of the portal, and two, that when all those guys mesh and come in, this is the standard, this is the culture, you guys come in, and then this is what you follow and you do and you whatever. It's one of the reasons why it worked in Ole Miss football this past year, is you had dudes that you come in and go, nope, this is where you're coming, what you're doing, and this is how you move forward. And if Lane hits on 24 the way that we all think or expect or hope or whatever you want to do, it's because Dart and all those guys are back. And when those high-ticket guys like Walter Nolan and all those dudes come in, and at some point they buy in and go, nope, we're here, and that's the standard. They're showing us that is the standard. It's like the LSU thing last year. We said this the other day. I'll be quick. Everybody keeps going, oh, God, look at the way they did in the portal.
They bought a
They
championship.
got Tommy
Not
White
really.
and they got Paul Skeens. And look, they did. They got two hellaciously good players.
They did.
They had Dugas and they had Morgan and they had all these cats that
Who
had
had been there for a
Cruz.
long time.
They had a core.
And that uniform meant something to them.
You need a core.
Dylan Cruz wearing that LSU uniform meant something to him.
Yeah.
And so when you walked into the building, Trey Morgan, same way.
Mm-hmm.
When you walked into the building, even if you're somebody as good as Paul Skeens, as good as Morgan, Tommy White, I mean, you don't get to tell them, hey, this is how we do things. No, it's not. I mean, Skeens kind of got to do his own thing, but not until he started shoving for 2/3 of the season.
Yeah.
And then
day one, it wasn't like, hey, look, this is what we did at Air Force. No, hey, I don't give a shit.
No. I mean, look around the country at the teams that are winning. They've got a core group of guys that have been in that place for a while, that putting that uniform on means something to them.
Ole Miss lost 4 weekends in a row, 2 out of 3, when it all went to hell in a handbasket in 22. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Again, I'm taking the Tennessee weekend out of it because Tennessee was really damn good in 22.
Yes.
They got buzzsawed and whatever. That's not the point of anyone ever makes.
Okay.
The games they lost, 7-4, 12-10 in extra innings, 4-2, 9-8 in the bottom of the ninth, 10-7, 7-6 in the 11th inning, 6-3, 4-3. Those were the losses.
Yeah.
Not a single blowout in there. Just lost some games.
Come on, good teams that just underachieved.
And lost 2 of the weekends in Columbia, South Carolina, and Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Close games. Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's been very well documented. Ole Miss left losing 2 out of 3 in Fayetteville, and Dave Van Horn told his coaching staff, if they get in,
they're scary.
They're pretty good.
Well, they lost one of those games in Fayetteville because Kendall Diggs hit a walk-off home run. Kendall Diggs is still at Arkansas.
That's actually the 6-3 game because it was a 3-run shot in the bottom of the whatever.
Yeah. Kendall Diggs is still there, part of a core group of guys that have been there for a while, and it means something to them to put that uniform on. And so when they bring guys in from the portal, those guys have to adhere to the culture that's already been established there. And it's not out yet, but it's in 10 thoughts. My questions about Ole Miss, and maybe you can answer some of these. How can a program, because it's not just portal, Chase. I'm telling you, it's not just the portal. I mean, if you tell me it is, then I'll go, okay, you're right. I just don't see it that way. How can a program that was so consistent for so long, that was the carrying card. Everybody was upset about no Omaha and not winning whatever, but regular seasons, they were very good steadily. How have they gotten so far away from that?
It is the question no one answers. And they don't know the answer because Ole Miss for years. Now they didn't have a ton of depth because of close your ears if you get pissed off, the scholarship issue. But they developed Friday night starters. They did a lot of stuff to make it where it worked, and they were pretty good in the best player category, if you will.
Yeah, always had frontline guys.
Always. And it is completely fallen apart, and I don't know anyone who has a good answer on why. No, it is a development issue right now for Ole Miss. It is not a portal issue. It is not a money issue. It is a development issue. Their team, for most of the season, has had 0 to 2 players in it who started their careers at Ole Miss as freshmen and have been here for any length of time whatsoever. And those 2 guys are sophomores. They are Will Furness and Judd Utermark. That's it. So either a true freshman, if you want to count Braden Randall, or a true freshman in Smithwick. Not a single junior and up who plays every day and signed with Ole Miss out of high school outside of when Reagan Burford has played at times this season.
Yeah. There you go.
That's it.
That's why.
I mean, that is literally why. I mean, that's it. I mean, I'll be real quick with this, and we'll go to break and come back and keep talking about something related to this. I mean, Ole Miss 10-3 on Saturday, pulling it up, lineup for Ole Miss. Transfer, first year. JUCO, second year. High school, sophomore. Transfer, first year. Burford, who hadn't played much. JUCO, true freshman. And then of the pitchers, actually most of them are fairly homegrown, but there's been a lot of stuff to that in a lot of different ways.
I mean, I think that's the
And
answer.
Josh Mallett is a shell of himself right now.
Right. I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. I've had people ask me because they know that I've tried to do my best to watch the other SEC teams. And I remember telling you this privately in a conversation when we were talking about can they get there. And the Alabama series, we talked about it. And I told you I had watched Alabama play 5, 6, 7 times, and I thought they were better than Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of scary from how are you going to get there? And look, as crazy as this sounds, there's still a path there because the 2 of the 3 teams they're going to play aren't very good.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Auburn. Auburn is 3-18 in the league. They're not good. Now, they play hard, and they're not going to roll over. You have to go there and win. They play with.
They got LSU yesterday.
They got LSU yesterday. They play LSU. LSU's now 7-14 and in deep trouble. Got to go there to do it, but that's doable. And then that last weekend, I think you play the best team in the league, Texas A&M. They're
the other way, but yeah.
Oh, did I get it wrong?
Auburn, A&M, LSU.
Okay, you're right. I've got A&M, to me, even though they don't have the best record in the league, they're 15-6. They're a game behind Arkansas in the SEC West. Arkansas 16-5. I think A&M is better than Arkansas. It's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they're probably the best team in the country.
Not by a ton, but I think they're better. I think A&M is, if there's a better team in the country, I haven't seen it, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I watch a lot of baseball that's not SEC.
Yeah.
I watch the SEC teams. I think there are 3 teams that are better than everyone else. I think Kentucky has had a great season. I think they've overachieved. Then there's this group of teams that are good that I wouldn't want to play in an NCAA tournament as a 2 seed that would scare the hell out of me. Georgia, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, those teams would scare the living hell out of me if they're a 2 in my region. And then there's this fall off, and Ole Miss is part of the fall off, and I don't really understand why they got to this place over 2 seasons. Because even in the year that we do the Cinderella story, they were 14-16.
They got back there, yeah.
You know, there's going to be good teams in the league this year that go roughly 14-16.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how you fell off a cliff, and it's talent.
Yeah, and they did fall off a cliff. So. All right, Prom Shrimp, promshrimp.com. A lot of different options for you, including their soy ginger. That's their most recent option they have going. Fewer than 10 minutes, freezer to plate, and deliver straight to your door. So they make it easy on you. Again, it's great for protein snacks, quick lunches, throw it on salads, depending on the flavor you want to take advantage of. Some of my favorites, the signature or the New Orleans style barbecue. Also, going to give you a little discount there. You get 5 pouches or more. You purchase those. You can try a little bit of everything. You just get a lot of your favorites. Use code RG, 25% off. Again, that's code RG, 25% off with promshrimp.com.
We're also brought to you by Regency Travel. John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John traveled the globe for 37 years before he even got into the travel business. He knows the extra attention that's needed to make a special trip, one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. So if you're thinking about planning a trip, get in touch with John. Give him some parameters. Give him a budget. He's going to give you options that you're probably not going to find on your own. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Oxford's newest Greek restaurant on the square, Opa. It's a perfect place to plan your company dinner, festive party event. Fabulous food, great craft libations as well. It's a great place next time you come up to Oxford. Make it a part of your weekend. They accommodate up to 200 guests. If you have catering or needs or you want booking information, contact Jeannie, 601-421-7147. We're also brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency. They've been connecting great job opportunities to candidates since 1967. If you're on the job hunt, whether you're looking for an entry-level position or you're a seasoned professional, they've got opportunities across the board: IT, engineering, dentistry, accounting, law, manufacturing, human resources, or more. They've got jobs for you. They can get to know you, get to know your strength, see what you're looking for in your next career move, and they'll help you find the right fit. Always free for the candidate. You've got nothing to lose. 601-573-9242 or servicespecialistltd.com. Get the beautiful and healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today and take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com.
So maybe this is something somebody has to tell us that is listening. Started our board about this pocket watch from the Titanic that was sold at auction. Did you see this?
I saw something about this, but I did not go into great
Okay,
detail.
so,
I went down another rabbit hole this weekend.
You did.
Yeah, sorry.
So John Jacob Astor IV, one of the most well-known rich people on the Titanic that sunk. Why did I have to qualify that? Yeah, everybody knows the Titanic sunk. Thanks.
Well, we all think we know a lot of things.
I've told y'all this. I was dead serious. I was sitting in high school when that movie came out, and someone in our group that was a friend of mine was pissed that we gave it away, that the ship sunk.
Sorry.
I mean, like,
All right, well.
why are you telling me the ending? It's like, hold on.
Yeah, go on.
Whoa.
You didn't know?
No clue.
Yeah.
Had no clue.
Well, they probably weren't going to do a movie about the ship.
The ship that made it.
The ship that set sail and made it to New York.
Carnival Celebration, premiering January 2nd. Yeah, it got there.
That worked. They called it the Love Boat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was that something as a kid? Did you watch much Love Boat?
It was on. Yeah.
I mean, I remember the syndication on like probably WGN is my assumption. Is that right?
No, it came on. It was always kind of.
Was that not WGN?
I don't know. I watched it.
That wasn't like In the Heat of the Night and like Bozo and stuff, or Dukes of Hazzard.
It could be, but
okay.
I remember it coming on live, if you will, on like Friday night. I think the Love Boat. It was the Love Boat followed by Fantasy Island.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one was better?
Fantasy Island was kind of racy, so I wasn't.
Was it really?
Yeah, a little bit. You know,
for the time.
For the time, I don't know that I was allowed to watch that.
Oh,
but I saw the Love Boat.
Okay, like maybe a minute about me not being allowed to watch Knots Landing back in the day.
Yeah,
you couldn't.
Yeah, come on.
It's a little past my.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was after Dallas, right? It was
it
Dallas.
Was. It
and
was.
Knots Landing.
That's
so you
correct.
can watch Dallas, but Knots Landing.
Yeah. Gold pocket watch worn by one of the richest passengers aboard the Titanic. Sold on Saturday for a record-breaking sum of nearly $1.5 million. The timepiece belonging to John Jacob Astor IV, a New York business magnate and real estate developer, and was expected to sell for about $189,000 at the auction, according to auction house Henry Aldridge and Son in Wiltshire, England. The watch's casing is engraved with his initials, JJA. The 14-karat heirloom, however, ended up selling for a total of $1,485 million. They told Fox News Digital on Sunday the watch was one of several items recovered from Astor's body after the ship struck an iceberg during its maiden voyage. My question is...
How'd they find his body?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not know that his body was recovered. I had no idea about that. My question is, so were the artifacts given to the family as would be normal, and then the family has sold them since, or did someone else just take occupancy of these items and then sell them?
I don't know. Good question. I mean, technically, his stuff should have gone to.
That's what I'm asking.
Next of kin.
Yeah. So, did they sell these off at some point? Also, you're expecting something. So, okay, I have a couple questions. Number one, you're expecting this to sell for almost $200,000. It sells for $1.485 million. That was a good day.
That's a good day.
The story says, and I get journalism in country today, expected to sell for about $189,000. About $189,000?
Why not just around $200,000?
Or even $190,000,
yeah.
$189,000. Why that arbitrary number?
It's just odd.
It is odd.
Yeah.
Dallas was incredibly popular back in the day, right? Like the most popular thing.
Incredible. The whole "Who Shot JR" cliffhanger was a big deal.
Ad campaigns and stuff.
The whole deal. Yeah, it was a totally different era of television.
Yes, Xavier Rivas is done for the year. I do not know anything about his willingness or unwillingness to return next season. I have no idea. No clue. So can't help you there. That's not a problem for today. That will be at some point in the future when other items get ironed out at that point. Yeah.
Questions Question 1 is not going to be, so what's up with Rivas?
So, no. There appears to be a 4-horse race for the final 2 spots in Hoover. I'm going to be really quick here. I get it.
I thought we were about to talk about the Derby. Okay.
We will later in the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Auburn, even after winning yesterday, look, they're 3-18. They got some work to do here.
Yeah.
Again, 2 teams don't make it. Then Missouri 6-15, and then Ole Miss and LSU 7-14. So of the 3, 1 will not make it, assuming an Auburn huge run doesn't happen.
Right.
LSU, Ole Miss, and Missouri. And then everybody else is pretty much mathematically in. I mean, Alabama's next at 9 wins, but I can't see that mattering anyway because Auburn can't catch them at this point, really. So,
right.
I mean, they guess they could, but they can't. Here's what's left, just quickly for these teams. I had that somewhere. 1 second. Where is it? I have 9 tabs open on my page right now.
LSU has Texas A&M this weekend,
which could just put this thing night before you ever get started.
You know.
Yeah, here we go. Auburn at home against Ole Miss, away against Missouri, at home against Alabama.
Okay.
Manageable schedule. And play 2 of the teams you're chasing.
I mean, very manageable.
But you're 4 back.
Right. And you're 3-18 for a reason.
Yeah. Them going 6-3 down the stretch just doesn't feel.
You'd bet against it. I mean, is it possible? Sure, but
they probably need 7 to get in.
To get into Hoover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 7-2 when you're 3 and whatever.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Missouri is at home against South Carolina, at home against Auburn, and away at Mississippi State. That's tough.
Probably win 4.
State's playing pretty well right now.
Missouri probably wins 3 to 4 of those. Maybe.
Sure. Yeah, maybe.
They're at 6 now. That gets them to roughly 9 or 10. Okay.
LSU at home against A&M, away against Alabama, at home against Ole Miss. The problem is this weekend that you could just be sunk.
I mean, in my mind, I give them 4 or 5 of those games, probably 5, probably.
Okay.
That gets them to 12 wins. So it gets them into Hoover, but I don't think it gets them into the NCAAs.
And then Ole Miss, Auburn, A&M, LSU. That A&M thing is just sitting there.
Brutal. That's right, because A&M finishes at home against Arkansas.
Do they?
They could be playing for the West.
Oh.
Where coaches would have difficult decisions to make. How hard do we push this thing? Because we've got a home,
something it means nothing.
We've got a national top seed wrapped up.
Something it means nothing.
Yeah.
Literally.
And both of those teams, when they get to, there's about 4 teams right now that when they get to Hoover, face that annual quandary of how hard do we do this?
It's why they're really excited about it. Next year, it's going to go to single elimination.
Oh, yeah, it'd be great.
Whole tournament, single elimination.
Just get done.
All 16 teams getting in.
So play 8 games and then 4 and then
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they'll do they'll do the same thing where like the bottom 8 play to get in, like to do the whatever.
Yeah.
But either way, it's
got it.
But that's the schedule. That's where.
Because I mean, if you're an SEC team this year and you've got 20 wins at the end of the season in the league, you're hosting. You're a national seed.
I mean, if Auburn swept Ole Miss, they would be 1 game behind Ole Miss with the tiebreaker with 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, you have a shot then to get there. Yeah.
But the math has a hard time any other way. Because if you take 2 out of 3, you've only gained 1 game. You're still 3 back.
And it's just that deal where you look at this weekend coming up, and statistics don't support a sweep either way. Ole Miss is suddenly going to sweep somebody. Auburn's going to suddenly sweep somebody. No, the odds are Ole Miss.
Somebody gets 2, somebody gets 1.
Somebody gets 2, and somebody gets 1, and yeah. Overwhelming.
So, and I mean, I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of juice for discussing whether or not you're getting into Hoover as the 12th seed. It doesn't matter.
No.
The number that maintains that has any mattering for Ole Miss is 13 regular season SEC wins, which means 6-4 down the stretch.
Yeah, it means a team that is playing 6-3 down the stretch.
Oh yeah,
sorry. It means a team that is playing 333.
It was 6-4 before Saturday. Right. Yeah,
it means a team that's playing 333 baseball has to play 667 baseball.
No team has ever made the NCAA tournament losing more than 17 games in league play. 13 and 17 is 17 games. And no team has ever made it at 13 and 17 who has not at least either won a game in Hoover or a midweek conference game that doesn't count as a conference game, meaning Mississippi State Tuesday.
Yeah.
So even if you have any scenario where you believe Ole Miss can get to 13, they need to win Tuesday too.
Yeah.
In Pearl.
Yeah.
Against the Bulldogs, who just took 2 out of 3 from Vanderbilt this past weekend in Nashville.
Yeah.
So that's, again, I'm not spending time on it because it just doesn't feel realistic right now. But that is still the path if you feel led for that. Call it what you want to call it at that point. I think I was off on Mike's buyout from last week, just based off percentages and the way those things worked. Again, it's hid behind the foundation. I have no way to know the exact number. No clue. I've led with that from the very beginning. But based off some previous contracts, a little low on like what percentage it is they play off of. I'm thinking this is more probably in the 5 range than the 4.5 range. So Mike will have 4 years remaining on his contract at the end of this season. And the way the buyout works is that you can pay out buyouts over the life of the contract. It's not like there's a lump sum that's due in 60 days or whatever, like some places. But yeah, just heads up on that. I think I was probably a little low. I think we're probably talking more 4.5, 5, actually 5 than 4 or 4.5 at this point. So
yeah,
a lot of money.
It's a lot.
It is the age-old thing of can you afford to do it and can you afford not to do it?
And I think
that is
both are legitimate questions that have to be explored.
Yes. Yeah, there's this thought out there that there's just safe no matter what, and that is not true. That is completely, unequivocally not true.
Look, I'm writing this in 10 thoughts. I don't go into great detail because I think it's a little early to go into great detail because there's a path. Look, if they were playing, if the path remaining was at Tennessee, at Arkansas, and home against A&M, I'd be like, this bitch is over.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, that ain't happening. But it's not.
But you can be a fairly mediocre baseball team and win 6 to 7 of these last games because you play LSU and Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn's 3-18.
Yeah.
That's who they are. So no criticism of them. I'm sure they're fine young men. LSU won a national title a year ago. We've quickly learned that doesn't mean anything the next year. LSU 7-14. They're on a path to win 10 games. And then A&M's a rolling ball of butcher knives. They're really, really good. They're 15-6. But is there a path to 6-3? Sure. I mean, sweep Auburn, get 2 against LSU, and beat A&M once, and you're there. Now, is that potential? No, I wouldn't have to do that. Just beat. Yeah, that's right. I'd give them 6. That would put them at 13, and they'd get in. Is that? Would you bet on that? No. You're not betting on a team that for 7 weeks has played 333 baseball to suddenly play 667 baseball in the next 3. Would it be the first time that's ever happened? Of course not. So it could happen. There's a path. And so as long as there's a path, I think too much of the other conversation gets you ahead of your skis. But it means a lot here. It's a big part of Oxford, frankly. It's a big part of the community. It's a big part of the university, the way that they market themselves. It's hosting students, things of that nature. We were in here doing a draft show on Thursday night. I told Chase this. What struck me, and I had the game up on my computer, so it wasn't the greatest screen in the world. What struck me was that there weren't a lot of people there on a Thursday night. And I don't think those were people that were staying home to watch the NFL draft. There weren't a lot of people there on a Thursday night with double-decker coming up the next day. I don't know what the attendance looked like on Friday or Saturday. We had some friends over on Saturday night who'd been to the game, and they said the attendance was fine, but the people got out of there pretty quick.
I thought the attendance was not good on Friday, considering it was a double-decker Friday, and Saturday was fine. Good. It was all right. Yeah.
Both of them said they noticed that people got out of there 6th, 7th inning. People just abandoned ship. There was more things to do. It was a nice Saturday.
Yeah, and it was 8-1 in the 6th.
I mean,
7th.
So I don't know. I think if you're Keith Carter and the people that make decisions and you look around that stadium and it doesn't look like what that stadium is supposed to look like 2 years in a row. And look, let's say the Auburn series doesn't go particularly well. Let's say they, for the sake of this conversation, they lose 2 of 3 to Auburn. Okay? Doable. They've lost 2 of 3 to a lot of people. That A&M series, man, there's not going to be many people there. And then you start getting into the whole, it gets difficult. It gets difficult to, on one hand, you've got to justify, in today's era, you've got to justify paying off a coaching staff. And on the flip side, you've got to justify not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not my call, not my decision. So I'm not going to sit there and go, here's what I would do. I don't have all the facts. But if you're them and you do, you've got to ask yourself the question of what happens if you run this back another time and it happens again? Because if it happens again, it's on you. You enabled it.
And you've lost your standing kind of everywhere then. Like, you're just kind of that team. Like, right now, you're okay. But,
yeah, sure.
And you don't worry about, hey, he's been here a long time.
No.
You either
look.
Two
things bug me. That and then this other one of, well, you negotiate. No, you don't. You don't negotiate jack. Okay?
You pay it.
You pay it. If you owe him 4 point whatever, that's what you owe. You don't try to do some deal where you meet in the middle. Or no. You gave him the contract. And look, in hindsight, was it a bad contract? Yes. In hindsight, can you really criticize Keith for doing it? Not really, because Keith did exactly. No, I don't know that anybody that covers that program or that's been around college baseball said on the heels of a national championship run.
They got to 14 and 16,
right,
which
that's
is the
critical.
bigger thing.
That's critical. Well, they had a bad month.
Yeah.
Teams have bad months. That happens. I mean, this Tennessee team had a bad month.
Yeah.
They're not bad right now, by the way. But anyway, no one said, you know what, over these next 2 seasons, over the next 17 SEC weekends,
a lot of signs they're going to go whatever they are.
There's a lot of signs that this team's going to only win 13 games and lose whatever the number is, right? 37 or whatever it is right now.
Yeah.
No, nobody saw that coming.
24, 28, 38.
Yeah, 13 and 38.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming. There's no way Keith could have seen that coming. And had he wouldn't have done the contract, obviously. But I think that criticism is way too hindsight 2020-ish. No, if you decide that you move on, you pay the man what he's owed. It's not the exit that anybody would have drawn up. But if that's what you believe is the right thing to do, then that's what you do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're 9-21 in their last 30 SEC home games.
That's the stunning one. You know, I mean, like there was a thread on the board, the Van Horn-Bianco comparison. Arkansas lost the second half of a doubleheader at home Saturday to Florida. I think, Chase, it was their first loss in like 30 games. Now, that's not all SEC, but they'd won a bunch of games in a row at that place. There's a consistency. That's the shocking part of where this is for the longest time, those were those were two of the programs that were sort of known for being consistent. Now, Mike got the national title, and Arkansas didn't, but they've maintained through
all the era.
They've maintained the same consistency. They're almost certainly going to be a regional host and probably a national seed again this year. They've been able to do that, and Ole Miss hasn't, and you have to be able to answer that.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPARC. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze. That's their fastest, their 1 gig option. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's NESpark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, and much more. So get the best internet in Lafayette County. That's 662-238-3159 or NESpark.com.
Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Either way, Andy Ludicky can help. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. It's myperfectfranchise.net, Andy at myperfectfranchise.net, or 404-973-9901. Southern Traditions Farm is a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. 2 sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails. So much offered at Southern Traditions, including horseback riding offerings from beginner lessons to advanced to competing at nationally recognized competitions. It's also a great venue for corporate outings, things of that nature. So get in touch with them on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm. I'll have a mailbag up later this week. It's brought to you by Art Hayes of Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's International Realty to work for you as a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss. Art Hayes can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email him at Arthur, ARTHUR.Hayes, HAYS at lakesmn.com.
It's kind of a couple things. Yes, I mean, if a change is made, we've been very consistent on that. I've been incredibly consistent on that. I would make Eric Backage say no like 10 times.
Yeah.
You basically do whatever that requires, and you go on from there, but only after that.
The interesting thing on a Backage is that you might have to wait a while.
And that's tough.
Tough.
You would be, if he gets to Omaha, you'd be watching a month of the portal just tick away and tick away and tick away and tick away.
Well, as you remember,
and it's not even about your getting other players. Who's talking to Andrew Fisher about not leaving?
Right.
You don't have to. There's no one there.
And the whole, we'll get an answer from him. No. He's not. I mean, he's not going to give you one. Nor should he. Nor should you expect one.
No.
Because he's got a team to coach.
Yeah.
That have invested in a season. He's trying to win a title. Trying to give the kids that play for him the best opportunity to win it. And you couldn't. The best way as a coach to be able to say, I haven't taught to school X is by not talking to school X.
I mean, look, just back channeling happened, of course.
Yeah, but if you're him, you never allow you to tell your agent or
all
anyone.
The plausible deniabilities.
You have complete deniability. Not even plausible. You have complete deniability. You have the ability as a coach when the media says, hey, your name keeps coming up at Ole Miss. They keep writing about you. I have not talked to Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't talked to my agent about Ole Miss. I have not talked to Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
And so when kids in your program say, hey, coach, what's up? I haven't talked to them. I'm not talking to anyone until our season is complete.
Yeah.
Hopefully celebrating a championship.
Yeah. Are you saying you're here next year? I'm focused on this season.
Do you anticipate being back at Clemson? Right now, I have no reason to anticipate not being that. Right now, I'm focused on this team, this season, and I'm not talking to anybody, including Clemson, about the future right now. I'm focused on this team. That's his answer. But if you allow yourself to get into some deal where you've done some back channel, then all of a sudden you can't shoot straight with the players that play for you.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't do that. And so sometimes when you're on the other side, you wrote about this with Chris Beard.
Mm-hmm.
There was once a time when Hunter Yurachek at Arkansas wanted Chris Beard. His basketball job was open. And Texas Tech was in the tournament, obviously. They won the first weekend. They got to the Sweet 16, and they won 2 games in that weekend. Well, now you have to wait for another 9 days. And Hunter Yurachek it was that game of chicken, and he turned off.
Couldn't wait.
And, hey, I can't criticize.
Because at that point, you also run the risk of Beard winning the game, getting emotional, and going, I just can't leave.
I can't leave. Or somebody else opens up and offers him, or he gets an NBA offer, or whatever the case may be, right? And so the people that criticize Yurachek for that, I think you're wrong.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and then Yurachek also in the back of his mind worried that Beard would leave for Texas, and he probably was right.
Random SEC thought. I was looking at Mississippi State. They, again, as I said, they took 2 out of 3 from Vanderbilt. A team that
12-9.
Yeah, they weren't very good in Oxford, but RPI got up to 28. They're not completely out of the hosting conversation yet.
Not at all.
They've got Arkansas, Missouri, and Alabama left.
They go to, where do they have this weekend? Because they go to Arkansas next weekend.
They got what this weekend?
I don't know who the State have this weekend.
Alabama.
Okay, at home.
Yes.
Ooh,
and Missouri at home to close.
Ooh. They could get 4 or 5 of those 6 games.
Yeah, you could get to 17, 18 without even a crazy thing happening.
Oh, take 2 from Alabama, 1 at Arkansas, and 2 from 2 or 3 from Missouri, and you're cooking with gas. You're probably hosting at that point. He's done a good job. They stayed the course because early it looked like they were in deep trouble.
Mm-hmm. May 14th, Mississippi State plays UNA. Cancel that game.
Yeah,
Zach.
Don't play it.
Lamonis, Zach, cancel that game. Do not. You need every bit of RPI help you can get right now. Don't play that game. I think UNA is like 272.
Yeah, don't play.
Give them their $10,000.
Someone turned on the ring. Son of a bitch.
Just didn't work.
We don't know what happened. A landscape guy turned it on, forgot to turn it off.
We like our grass.
It happened. This thing is it's a mud pit right now.
It sucks.
We can't play.
We're gonna fire that guy.
We're very upset at him.
Yeah, very angry.
Hey, by the way, you're not really fired. In fact,
shake your locker.
Yeah,
be 500.
It's good.
Yeah,
you're good.
Great job.
In fact, take the next month off. All the Ripple ice cream you could want.
Muscadine Ripple.
It's all coming. Just
cheese. They do have fantastic cheese.
Just when you go over there, just say, hey.
You ever gone over to the cheese store and bought some cheese at State?
Not at State. We used to do it in Ruston at Tech
Did
Farm.
You?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it good too?
Yeah, it was good cheese. It was.
No, I'm good.
The Mississippi State cheese is really good.
Yeah, I was being serious.
Yeah, I know.
They have excellent cheese.
I can give people credit for having good cheese. No problem with that.
They have great grass and good cheese.
They do typically have really good grass.
They have great grass.
They really do. Credit.
It's kind of what you do, but do it well. I mean,
yeah, when they do.
Had their grass sucked, they'd be like, "How do I got?"
Yeah, you're at ag school.
Yeah,
you can't
grow grass.
Can't get cows to come on. No, but they do. They do those things really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their cheese is excellent. I assume their ice cream is very, very good.
It is, especially this week. You're not having any Muscadine Ripple.
No,
none.
No ice cream for me for a while.
Little caramel on top, melted peanut butter.
Sounds good, but no, I gotta.
Last thing, we hit some NBA tomorrow. We hit some draft tomorrow. If you missed it, Neal and Tower did a 5.5 hour draft show on Thursday night.
It was really good.
Had multiple head coaches on. Yeah. Payne, Brian Vincent, and Summerall.
And David Beatty. Who got tired of the Kennedy questions.
Did he really?
A little bit. I don't blame him. He was like, hey, can we talk football? Like, sure.
That's not really what we want to talk about, though.
But before we do.
Yeah. Last thing, we will stop. Again, we'll hit those things tomorrow. We've run longer than I thought. Did the dude rupture his patella last night, the Wolves coach?
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Yeah. Mike Conley ran into Finch, and I think he ruptured his patella.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Was he like in agony there on the floor?
Yeah, it looked bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Conley and somebody else kind of went over, and they hit him, and knee just exploded.
Oh, man. That sucks.
Uh-huh.
He was finished, I think, third in the Coach of the Year balloting.
Okay. Who was second?
Orlando coach.
Oh, okay.
Who did a great job.
Interesting. Okay. Yes, again, quickly last that. One hell of a game at the American Airlines Center in Dallas yesterday. 116-111, Clippers over Mavericks. That's now 2-2, headed back to L.A.
The fourth quarter of that game, when you're watching greats make shots, I mean, Paul George hits a big three that could not have been defended any better. Harden does the Harden thing. Kyrie makes this shot at the basket that you're like, how? Three dudes in his, I mean, I don't know how he made it. Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. It was a great game. And I'm hoping they need to, look, it's a 7-game series. Play 9 games.
Play 9.
11 games. 13 games.
Just keep playing.
Just play.
Knicks get to have a chance to close out the 76ers at home. They're up 3-1 after a 97-92 win there in Philadelphia. Indiana up 3-1. They can close it out in Game 5 in Milwaukee. The Bucks are a shell of themselves right now. It's not even it's not even. I mean, Lillard didn't play last night.
No, they're in trouble. And Indiana's good. They're not a great team. They're not a title team, but they're a good team.
I don't know. I read Greg Doyle, and he said this is the start of the path to the championship because they beat the Bucks, who won a title 2 years ago, and are, I mean,
yeah, Giannis played on that team a lot.
He would change the calculus of this.
Giannis is kind of good.
And then who else is kind of good is Anthony Edwards. They close out the Phoenix Suns 4-0 with a sweep last night in Phoenix, 122-116, T-Wolves over the Suns.
I'm completely with Grind here. I'm writing this in 10 thoughts on my basketball thing. There's time to talk about what the Timberwolves did because it's impressive. But the Phoenix Suns poured a ton of money into this team. Got nothing. They don't even have one playoff win to show for it. I mean, people talk about soul searching, but I don't know, what do you do? Who's taking Kevin Durant's contract?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Devin Booker, I want out. Bradley Beal, they mortgaged a lot of draft capital. This team's not good. Kevin Durant gets swept out of the first round by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, Timberwolves are good. They're really good. They're a good team. Jamal Murray kind of tweaked his leg the other night. If Jamal Murray's not good to go, all of a sudden both Minnesota and Oklahoma City are contenders in the West.
Mm-hmm.
But you're Kevin Durant. You got swept out of the first round of the playoffs by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Not Denver. I mean, even LeBron and the Lakers got one.
Mm-hmm.
You got swept out of the playoffs, and most of those games were not even competitive. I mean, I hate doing the what happens to his legacy thing, but what the hell is Kevin Durant's legacy?
Guy who had to join a super team to win, and they won before him and after him.
That's it.
Yeah. And he scored a lot of points.
That's it.
Yeah.
Soft is his legacy. Is that fair? I don't know.
But it's where it is.
It's where it is. That's how he'll be remembered.
He has a worse overall legacy than Harden and Westbrook of those three as they quit.
Sure.
So,
I mean, they were tough yesterday. Listen, Dallas was down 30-something points and came back and tied that game.
Mm-hmm.
A soft team folds. And they didn't. They made plays, made buckets. Harden was big down the stretch. I don't like him, but he was big down the stretch. And give Russell credit, Westbrook. He knows who he is today and plays that way.
We'll hit some more NBA tomorrow. Basketball portal ends May 1st. That also includes grad transfers, by the way. That's a new rule. Beforehand, all grad transfers basically didn't have to follow the portal, but snuck in that NCAA legislation that was completely pro-player in every other way.
Mm-hmm.
That is in there. All grad transfers also have to be in the portal by May 1st. So just heads up on that.
It ends at midnight tomorrow.
Correct. Yes,
right.
that is correct. So like a Cam Spencer leaving and going to UConn in July, getting in the portal then, no, out.
Right.
As far as that goes, they have to be in by tomorrow, basically. So anyway.
And I know there's a question that's out there, and I'm working on the answer. I don't have it. I don't think Matthew Morrell declared for the NBA draft.
Okay.
Now,
he can as long as he doesn't get representation.
Here's the thing. Yeah. And here's the thing. He's probably not getting drafted. So he can still sign a two-way.
Yeah.
Or he could go just sign a straight G League contract, or he could go to Europe.
Yes.
It's not indicative necessarily that he's coming back to Ole Miss, although there is some buzz there. Because he could make more money at Ole Miss next year than he could make anywhere else.
Right.
But I'm not sure that long term that might not be the decision that people would recommend for him. If he's holding out hope of an NBA career, he probably needs to play a different level of basketball.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, all right. All that and more coming up. RebelGrove.com in the meantime, and we will talk to you on Tuesday.